Welcome to the Central Prairie Railway. I'm Steve Boyko. I am doing a little test run of a grain train here to see if it fits on my layout. I've laid down some temporary track on the CN portion of the railway, and I want to run this train and a couple more to try to figure out if the track plan is going to work the way I hope it will. So what I'm really testing here is things like siding lengths and clearances and so on to see if it'll all work. So what I've built here is a train with one locomotive, 3 grain cars, and a caboose, because all trains should have a caboose. And what I want to do is basically run that off staging where it is right now onto the layout, bring it into the Cargill grain elevator, and then pull out the cars that are in the Cargill grain elevator and return to staging. So first thing that I notice here is that the staging track is really not that long. So you can see here that this is the layout spot portion here. This track here in the foreground will be an industry track, and so there'll be like a backdrop right here so that you don't see this part here, but the exit from staging here is not very far away from the switch here. So if you're running around something in the siding here, you're basically going to duck into staging, which is not optimal at all. So one thing I was thinking of as I was putting this train here was that perhaps here in the end of the layout I could put a temporary fold up portion right here so that it would fold up and give me a little extra track, so that I could have more room for staging, or at least pull the staging back. I don't know that I can really stage a longer train, but at least it'll be farther. The staging will be more off layout. The reason why I don't have this built now is because this is a door, and I do not want to be ducking under that. This is also my office. This room is also my office, so I'm in and out of this room a dozen times a day at least. And I had a duck under my previous layout, and I really got to hate it. So no duck under. So but I'm okay with a temporary folding thing to extend it. So anyways, here's our train. So what we're going to do is we're going to come onto the layout and drop off the caboose, and then back the train into the Cargill grain elevator. So it's going to come down here through the siding over there, and then it's going to back into here, which is the Cargill grain elevator. There's Cargill. So, and I'll pick up these cars here that are already in the Cargill grain elevator. They're presumed to be loads. So there we go. We'll give it a try and get the video set up so that we can do that. This is not a sound locomotive, but it makes its own noise. See, there's a good start right there. One of the things that I've noticed about this temporary track layout is that we have kind of a kink in the track here. Not such a good thing. Not all of these cars are going to track around it, so that is part of the testing process. Maybe this curve is too sharp. So we will continue on. Hopefully it won't derail anymore. So we're going to pull past the siding, and then we'll put the caboose in the siding. There. Pardon me for a second while I run around the peninsula. Okay, so here we are. Now the other thing I'm testing here is I've got the clearance to before I hit the wall. So this part here is the interchange with the Central Prairie Railway, and sorry, that's the crossing there. The interchange track is going to be here, on going up through here, and so I wanted to test how much of a train I can fit here. So obviously 3 cars plus a caboose will fit. Without the caboose, 4 cars, but there's no way for you to put the caboose in the siding. So realistically, 3 cars plus a locomotive will fit. So we will back up into the siding, drop off the caboose. And I don't know, this might not be the best operating move. Maybe the best operating move is to take the caboose with us into Cargill. So I'll just muck around with that. There we go. We're going to pull past the Cargill switch, and hopefully there's room for that. If you hear a thunk, that's me hitting the wall. So we're past the Cargill switch. Line that for the main, that for Cargill, and this is how much room we have. So not a lot. Definitely not room for 4 cars. All right, now we'll back into Cargill. Now we're going back onto the old layout track here. I'm not going to get too fancy into positioning right here. The Cargill has their own switcher, so we can just drop it right here, and the switcher can deal with it later. So just put it there. Assume that all the handbrakes get set so we can leave it. And then we'll pick up the other cars. Line and lock. Why am I using this particular locomotive? I don't know. Just whatever was happened to be the first one I grabbed. Okay, we'll assume that the train has already been pressurized. You know, the air has been pumped into it by Cargill, and it's ready to go. Handbrakes are off. Just have to do a brake test at the end of the train, confirm that there is, and pressure there, and away we go. Now we have to run around the train. So this is where maybe having the caboose in the siding wasn't such a great idea. I'm not sure. So we're going to go until we clear the switch. Line for there. So, all right, so we're going to push this onto the main. That's pretty fast. And push it onto the main and leave it there. And then we'll grab the caboose with the locomotive and stick it on the end. So we have to go past the fouling point here. Leave the train there. And couple. Go get the caboose. Switching a little faster than I normally would, just to, because we're not really doing an operating session here, I'm just doing a test. Couplers don't line up. Okay. I'll put the caboose back onto the train and have to shove it a little farther so we don't fall. Good. Leave the train there and run around with the locomotive. The locomotive will have to go backwards, but you know, I don't have a Y, so there's not much I can do with that. A Y is something that I had thought about pretty hard in my layout plan, and I'm still not, still a little heartbroken that I don't have one, but you never know, one might show up in the CP side. Ys are great for turning trains. Alright, so now we'll run down to the other end. I'm just going to put the camera down for a sec while I run around the tunnels. See if I can do this without dropping the camera. Be right back. Okay, so now we have to throw the switch for the siding. Come on out. You see how I'm pretty much into the staging right there? So that's not really optimal. I guess we have to make compromises, but I'm not entirely happy about that. Okay, so now we have the locomotive coupled up to the train with the caboose on the tail end, as it should be, and we take it into staging. Hopefully it doesn't derail on the curve this time. Different cars, so you never know what will happen. You hear the wheels click over it. And I'm keeping a close eye so I don't drive the locomotive right off the end. There we go. Okay, so there is the end of the staging, and the train is in it. So, I think this is a pretty successful test. What it has shown me is that a 3-car train works and fits everywhere. The only thing it also has shown me is that this staging is not really long enough for a 3-car train without hanging out into the layout. So I think I'm going to have to look at some kind of temporary extension here, whether it flips up here on a hinge, or whether it just plugs in with a couple of pins or something for alignment, something like that. I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do in order to get, even if I get out to like here, I can stage it 2 cars farther out, then it's definitely mostly off the layout and behind the backdrop, and then it'll look a lot better. So I think that's necessary, and I'm okay with that. That is, as long as it's temporary and I'm not ducking under it all the time, I'm okay with that 100%. And yeah, so looks pretty good. The next test I'm going to do is to run a different train that just has local cars and interchange traffic, and I want to switch this industry here, whatever it is, switch this industry here, and take some cars to the interchange track. So before I do the interchange track, which is there, I have to actually build the interchange track so I know how long it is, and then I'll test that. So good test so far, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy these videos of the Central Prairie Railway, and please please give me a like and comment. Thanks. Bye.